You can do the opening.
Welcome everybody.
Like, what the hell is going on? That all these players, like Liverpool was an absolute.
Let's not get crazy. Here we go. 3-team teaser.
All eight. They just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Welcome back again.
We are back.
We're back from a little break.
There was a little bit of a break. Sadly, there were some things going on, but we're definitely back. We had to get back. I'm really excited to be back.
Neither do I.
There's a lot of stuff that we've got to talk about. A lot of things have been going on. So yeah, sorry for the delay, everybody out there, but we're really happy to be doing it again. And there's a lot to get to.
So why not let's start off with the Champions League.
Champions League is what we're going to get into first, because that's what we just before we started filming, we were discussing about everything that was going on. Champions League is what we got to bang on real quick. So the last 8 draw has been made for the quarterfinals. Some really good matchups. Manchester City, Bayern Munich.
City against Bayern Munich.
Right off the bat.
João Cancelo.
João Cancelo's coming back. He's coming back.
He's coming back. But I don't think he's going to play though.
Probably not. Let's see. I don't think Bayern Munich are too concerned if he plays or if he doesn't play. I think that they feel good anyway. But Man City are going to be loaded with confidence as well. This match is like a real 50-50, and we'll talk about it more in the coming weeks as we get closer to that match. But I'm really excited for that one.
I'm buzzing for it.
Yeah, Bayern Munich blew away PSG easily, and Manchester City they destroyed Leipzig. So
yep.
I mean, both teams are on fire right now. They're playing really well. Excited for that one. Chelsea, Real Madrid. Real Madrid, they blew away Arsenal, or they blew away Liverpool. It wasn't even competitive, just smoked them.
Except the last one, except the latest one though.
Yeah, I mean, it was that the second leg was a little bit more competitive, but it's still easy win. Liverpool didn't look very good. Chelsea, well done, knocked out Borussia Dortmund, played very well in that game. The penalty, we didn't talk about that game, but I can say the penalty decision in the Chelsea Dortmund game that essentially won the game for Chelsea was absolutely fucking ridiculous. It was absurd. Anytime you have a player that stops and stutters and jumps and doesn't kick the ball, of course players on the line are going to be coming up because they don't know what the fuck he's doing. And by the way, it wasn't just the Dortmund players, there were 2 Chelsea players as well.
Yep.
Pretty much 6 players came up. It was 4 from Dortmund and 2 from Chelsea. And of course they came off the line because the penalty taker was trying to play mind games with the goalkeeper. But Chelsea were so lucky to get to take that penalty again for Kai Havertz, and they made the second one, and that was it. But with that said, Dortmund, they didn't really play that well in the second leg either, so Chelsea, maybe they did deserve it. I didn't like how the penalty was retaken, but fair play to Chelsea. They did all right in that second leg. I can't see them beating Real Madrid, though.
Real Madrid is probably going to blow them away.
I can't see it.
I can't see.
No.
Well, from the previous game of Chelsea, that's the reason why they ain't going to beat Real Madrid.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah,
so.
And we'll get more into that Champions League game in the coming weeks as well. But it's one to look forward to. Then we have an all-Italian matchup, Napoli-AC Milan. AC Milan are rich in history, and they will have a little bit of, I guess we could say, aura about them because they've done so well in the Champions League over the years, although not recently, but in years gone by they have. But surely Napoli are the much better team.
Now it's fairy tales for them.
Yeah, I mean, Napoli are so good right now. They're clearly the best team in Italy, and I would expect them to beat AC Milan. And then we finish up with Inter Milan. Benfica is the other one that was drawn together. This one to me is a real 50-50. I'm going to give a slight edge, though, a very slight edge to Benfica in this one.
Nah, this is for Club Brugge. This is for
Club Brugge. I know.
AC Milan's going to blow Benfica away. This is for our Club Brugge.
All right. So Inter Milan's out for justice. They're gonna fight in there for Bruges.
They're going to fight for us for Club Brugge.
That one is a real tight one to call. It's really tight. But yeah, Inter Milan could definitely win it. They definitely could. But those games are ones to look forward to. I'm excited for it. And it'll be coming back in a few weeks. We'll have the Champions League back. Europa League, real quick, just talk about that. Arsenal, that Sporting Lisbon match.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yes, Sporting Club de Portugal. Arsenal, like, man, they were Well, listen, they should have won that game, but that goal,
That last goal, they could see it.
that's a goal worthy of winning any match ever played in the history of football. That's how good that goal was. But with that said, you know, that goal just got it to a penalty kick competition. Arsenal couldn't hold their nerve. Martinelli had a really, really bad miss in that penalty kick shootout, and Lisbon moved on. Well done. Manchester United, they easily got past Real Betis. Next round, Manchester United are playing Sevilla.
Sevilla.
Yeah, I mean, tricky match, but I would expect Man U to win that.
Probably.
But Sevilla, you know, they ain't chumps. You know, they've got some good players there, and they've done well in the Europa League over the years. So it's a game to look forward to. So that's where we're at in the Europa League right now. But the big talking points that we want to get to is what's been going on in the Premier League of late. So let's just jump right into it. I think a good place to start is with Tottenham Hotspur.
Tottenham against Southampton. Okay.
I think that's a good place to start. Tottenham completely capitulated. They just gave that game away. A comfortable 3-1 up with 10 minutes to play. Southampton pulled one back with bad Spurs defending, and then a penalty late on in the 91st minute. I will say this. I thought it was a strange penalty. I thought that Southampton actually were pretty lucky to get that penalty. It was on the edge of the box, away from the action. There was very, very little contact. And VAR looked at it, but they looked at it for like 5 seconds, and they said, okay, penalty. Listen, I still am surprised that it was. For me, that wasn't a penalty at all. I don't know why the referee gave it, and I don't know why VAR agreed with it so fast. But with that said, James Ward-Prowse, one of the best in the business, stepped up and hammered it in, and Southampton got a point, a 3-3 draw. And then after the match, Conte just went mental. As everybody knows, he just went mental. He's obviously looking to be sacked right now. And we were discussing this before the video. The reason he's not getting sacked is because Spurs have to pay him money if they sack him. That's it. His contract expires at the end of the season, and then both sides can just walk away clean at that point. But if they sack him now, they've got to pay him. And I don't think Spurs want to do that. So Conte's gone. He's definitely gone. But I think he will finish out the season for Spurs. And for them, you know, he called out the players. He called them all out. That means Harry Kane. That means Heung-min Son. Like these guys, you know, who have a strong pedigree, he's pretty much come out and said, listen, you have no heart. You suck. You're not good enough. You're not getting the job done. The guy ain't messing around. A lot of what he said actually was true. To be fair to Conte, a lot of it was true. But I think he could have handled the situation better. But he couldn't keep it inside anymore.
I'm just really mad about this game, though. I had loads to talk about in this game. First goal, the first half ended 1-0.
That's right.
And then when the second half, comfortable 1-0.
Comfortable.
And then the second half, somehow Southampton just equalised.
Quickly. They got quickly.
It was like 2 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very quickly.
I think it's less than 2 minutes. And then Spurs scores. I think they even go up for 3-0 first.
Oh yeah, Spurs scored bang 3-1. Yeah, it was 3-1. It was 3-1, 10 minutes to play.
3-1, 10 minutes to play. And then somehow Theo Walcott, the guy.
Where did he come from?
Where did he even come from?
I know it. They dusted him off.
He comes and scores the second goals for Southampton, and then the equalizer goal for for Southampton. James Ward-Prowse, the guy who you can trust if you want. You know what? Even though the fact that Ward-Prowse taking penalty against Foster, he used to be his old mate.
Usually in those situations, the goalkeeper has like a little bit of an advantage. You know, some mind games.
So you know what he does, Ward-Prowse? This is what I listened to the podcast. It was like he was facing down. He just don't want to look.
Yep.
He just don't want to look at his old mates scoring against his old mates. So he just looked. If you look at the replay, I'll pop up the image for you guys.
Yep.
You can see that his face was always down.
Always down.
Always down. His face is down towards the ground. Always. He doesn't look at Foster.
Well, fair enough. I mean, because sometimes if you give these goalkeepers the tiniest inch, it gives them an advantage. And James Ward-Prowse wasn't going to let that happen.
So pissed off when Spurs conceded the third goal. It should be an easy one for them when it's 3-1.
Yeah, I didn't have any money on that game. Spurs are so toxic right now. But I did win a little bit of money on them the week before when they beat Nottingham Forest. So I did in that game. But you can't touch them right now. You can't touch Spurs, especially after what happened in that game.
You know what? Who do you think is going to become the manager for Spurs?
I think they're bringing back Pochettino.
Pochettino?
I think they're bringing him back.
Pochettino. It's going to get a little spicy, though.
A little spicy. But I think they're going to bring him back.
Do you think he's going to come?
I think he would. Yeah, I think he would come.
History will be made.
History will be made. And speaking of managers coming back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on because there's a little bit of news about that. But Spurs, they completely fell apart in that game. But one more to talk about. Chelsea and Everton at the weekend. Now, this game I did lose money on. I'll come right out and say it. I lost money on it. That was an ugly game for Chelsea. Really, really ugly. In a season of ugly games, that was one of the worst. That's a bad Everton team, and they kind of let them back into that game when they should have just closed it down, sealed it down. But they let Everton hang around, and sure enough, they got a late goal.
Well, this game made me go brutal. To be fair, I did have a little money on as well.
Yeah, so did I.
It should be an easy win for Chelsea.
Really easy. Chelsea should have been packed with confidence.
Yeah.
They'd beaten Leeds recently in the Premier League. They'd advanced in the Champions League. Then they beat Leicester City in the Premier League. So they had been on a roll. Definitely a roll. Everton at home, they should have slaughtered them. Absolutely slaughtered them.
Yeah.
They had to settle for a weak 2-2 draw. So it just goes to show like Chelsea still have a lot of problems.
Especially the goalkeeper, For me, Kepa, he's Spanish international. He couldn't perform better. He's a goalie. I even listened to another podcast and he said that top goalie saves the second goal. He should save that.
Absolutely.
Because that's the goal that's going to decide.
Kepa's garbage. He's been garbage for long. They actually wanted him gone. They brought in Mendy to replace him. And then Mendy, he got injured, and then he started to drop down, and they were like, okay, well, we got to bring Kepa back. So they didn't really have any choice. But Chelsea know that he sucks, and he ain't going to get any better. People know who Kepa is. On his day, he can still perform okay, but over the course of a season, he's going to make mistakes.
I think he's bloody useless right now.
Absolutely
useless. As like a hot dog in a vegetarian convention.
Ain't gonna have any meaning at all.
Any meaning at all.
I know.
All he does. I was shocked that when who came out, wasn't it? I think it's. And then I can't remember who came out, and then he gave the captain badges to Kepa. I was in shock.
Well, keep in mind, this is a guy who refused to come off in the League Cup final. Keep in mind, the manager at the time, it was Mauricio Sarri. Yes, said he substituted him off for the penalty kick competition, and this guy refused to walk off the pitch. He refused, and then sure enough, Chelsea lose that penalty kick competition, because he wouldn't come off the goddamn pitch. So keep in mind that's the kind of player that we're dealing with here. Chelsea need to move on, and of course they eventually will. But right now they're in a bad situation because their goalkeeper sucks. They're still not scoring very many goals. I thought they could have scored more goals against Everton.
Topley should have had a new goalie,
Oh yeah, Bowley needs a new goalkeeper immediately. They need one. But one thing I will say is, I did see the statistic the other day, and I've been talking about this with my friends recently. Is just how good the bottom of the Premier League is this season. It's the best the bottom of the Premier League has been in the history of the Premier League, and we now have the statistic to prove it. I just read there's 10 matches to go in the Premier League right now. Some teams have 11, give or take 10 or 11 matches, but they say at this point of the season, with 10 games to go, the gap between Southampton at number 20 and position number 12, I believe, is 5 or 6 points. And it's never been that tight in the history of the Premier League. The gap between 12 and 20 with 10 matches to play. Never. The teams at the bottom ain't fucking around. Southampton are still a decent team. Everton are a decent team. Bournemouth are a decent team. Crystal Palace, Leicester City, Wolves. These are teams okay, their form isn't great for some of them right now, but they can still pop up and deliver a good performance. They still can. Usually by this point in the Premier League, we know one team for sure that's going down. We usually know one.
Yep.
We don't know shit right now, man. We don't know shit.
We're clueless.
It can go any way right now, any way. So fair play to the teams at the bottom of the Premier League. They're still battling. They're still fighting down there. And that's what's happening. Some other matches from the Premier League that went on over the past weekend.
Arsenal Crystal Palace.
Arsenal Crystal Palace. Arsenal looked really good in that game. Crystal Palace are garbage right now.
Yeah, they just lost Patrick Vieira.
They sacked Patrick.
Him.
They sacked him. And guess who's coming back?
Who was it?
Roy Hodgson. He is back. It's confirmed. He's back.
Confirmed.
So we just talked about Pochettino coming back. Roy Hodgson, 75 years old. He's back in the Premier League for Crystal Palace.
Holy moly.
Holy moly. He is back.
He's back, gentlemen. He's back, gentlemen.
He's back. I think for Hodgson, though, he came back 2 years ago for Fulham. They brought him back. And sadly, Fulham, they were relegated that season. And I think that Hodgson was thinking, I can't be relegated with my final Premier League opportunity.
Here we go.
So I think he's saying, listen, I'm coming back. I'm saving Crystal Palace. I'm keeping him in the Premier League. And I'm walking away.
Is he going to be the hero, gentlemen?
Is he going to keep Crystal Palace up? They look terrible right now.
Well, they're
absolutely
winless
terrible
since the World Cup ended.
Yeah, they haven't won in 2023.
They haven't won any game?
Yeah, they haven't won any games this year. They haven't won any games.
Now's your chance, Roy Hodgson.
I think Roy Hodgson keeps them up, though. I do.
Is he going to be the hero?
I think he's going to be the hero.
Let me know in the comments,
Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, let me know in the comments.
Let me know. So, anyway, Arsenal looked really good. Crystal Palace looked like garbage. Arsenal, yeah, they were spectacular in that game. But Palace, Roy Hodgson, let's see what he can do.
Let's see what he can do then. Maybe he
Yeah.
could be like Sean Dyche in the first match. Sean Dyche came in Everton. Maybe.
I have to see who Palace plays in their first match. I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure right now, but yeah, there's a good chance that you get that new manager energy. You get it, and Crystal Palace are probably going to have that energy and perform well in their first game. So Arsenal, they're on a tear right now. They've won their last 6. They've taken 18 points from 18. They're now 8 points ahead of Manchester City. Man City have one game in hand, though. Arsenal and Man City still have to play as well later this month. This title race is really, really, really tight. What's your feeling about the title race right now? What are you thinking about it? What are you feeling?
My heart says Man City.
Okay.
But my head says Arsenal.
Okay.
But I hope Arsenal somehow, because the next game that Arsenal are facing, they were all pretty tough.
Arsenal have some really tough games coming up.
Now's your chance,
really
Man
tough.
United. Now's your chance.
But Man City's next game after this international break is against Liverpool. Now, Liverpool look like absolute garbage right now. I mean, garbage. I would think Man City are going to beat Liverpool.
Well, here's the thing.
I do.
We did say that, Man United is going to beat Liverpool.
Yep.
And then the next week, and then that weekend, Liverpool just slaughtered Man United.
I did go for a draw on that game.
You did go for a draw.
I did go for a draw.
Yep. And then somehow the next week they have lost against Bournemouth.
I know they lost against Bournemouth. Yeah.
And maybe when they're going against Man City, who knows?
They beat Man City one time this season already.
Probably most of the time they did beat Man City.
Well, actually, they beat them twice. They beat them in the Community Shield. They beat them in the Community Shield, and then they beat them in the Premier League. But I think that this game is going to be a different one. This game's in Manchester. I think that City are gonna get them this time. But anyway, we'll talk about more about that game coming up in the next video because it's still a few weeks away. But Arsenal need to lose 2 games, I think, for Man City to win the title. Now that includes if Man City beats Arsenal when they play, and Arsenal loses one more game. Arsenal still have to play. They have to play Liverpool. They have to play Spurs. They have to play Chelsea. They have to play West Ham. They have some tough games in there. If Arsenal lost twice, Man City have a chance. They've got a chance to do it.
Do you really think they're going to lose 2 games?
I do. I think Arsenal will lose 2 games. I do. But I'm not sure Man City are going to be able to win all their games. But I do think Arsenal will lose 2 more games this season. I do.
You do think so?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that's great then.
But we'll talk about it more when the international break finishes. But right now, Arsenal are looking good. If I had to pick one to win the title right now, I still give a slight edge to Arsenal. I do. But it's tough to go against Man City. But I'm going to give a slight edge right now to Arsenal, but that can change.
This made my Arsenal fans friend feel confident. One day I was chatting with him and he says that, well, good luck on your Champions League. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? He said, how dare you? How dare you? He was like, good luck with the Champions League. Premier League's mine. And I was like, what the hell are you bloody talking about? You. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think, Man City and Bayern Munich? What do you think about that game?
Well, I think for first thing first, João Cancelo is not going to be able to play.
Yeah.
And then Bayern Munich just go to an ugly loss against, what is it?
Union Berlin.
That last week. So probably maybe Man City should be able. So yeah, I think Man City should be able to win because
going for Man City.
Yep, the final the Bayern Munich striker Choupo-Moting.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? I just don't really trust him at all. It really depends on his chance though. If he really has a great chance, he can do it. But if he really needs to go and the pressure's on him, he fucking can't. He just screwed up.
I'm going for a Bayern win.
You're going for Bayern win?
I am. A couple reasons. Number one, Bayern Munich, when Erling Haaland played at Dortmund, Munich faced him many, many times. And they know what he can do. They know his game very, very well. And furthermore, Haaland has been disappearing in the big matches recently. Now we'll talk. Okay, he had 5 against Leipzig. He had a hat trick against Burnley in the FA Cup. It's brilliant. In the big matches though, recently this guy's been a ghost.
He's been shut down.
Ghost, man. And I think Munich are gonna get him. I think Munich will shut him down. They know how to play him. He hasn't performed in the big games the last 3 months. I'm going for a Bayern Munich win over Man City, but we'll talk about that when the game comes closer. Things can change. Things can change. The Premier League, it's all excited right now. It's very, very exciting, but Arsenal I give a little bit of an advantage to. There was a few other games over the weekend. Wolves were playing with Leeds. Yes, Wolves were playing with Leeds, and Leeds just blew them away, man.
We need to talk about that game.
Just blew them away.
Loads of happens.
Yeah, I didn't have any money on that game. Wolves, man, they when they look bad, they look really, really bad. And Leeds, man, fair play. They can still score goals. Leeds can score goals, and they look nice in that game. I think Leeds are safe.
You know, my friends, he texted me and he said, should I put some money on this game on Wolves? And I said, bro, mate, seriously, you need to calm down. I mean, this is a very, very tight game. This is like borderline hell.
Yeah.
If you put your money on, if you watch that game, you'll be frustrating as hell. If you place a bet for Wolves, I was like, mate, maybe you want to go Chelsea-Everton instead.
Everton.
And then somehow it's just collapsed. But
yeah,
I did save him from losing double the money that he would.
Well, that's good advice. Yeah. I don't like to touch Wolves right now either. I don't.
Well, we're gonna talk about one thing about Wolves.
Yeah.
To be fair, I haven't watched the full match of it. I've watched other games. So, have you seen the third goal Leeds scores?
I did see it. Yeah. I did.
It was a problem between Adama Traore and then whoever it is against Leeds, and then somehow Adama just stops the play and look towards the referee, and the Leeds manager says that keep on play, and then Leeds keep on playing, and then it leads to the goal.
I've seen that a lot of times over the years. It should never happen. Players need to always play on. They should never stop running. They should never look at referees
until they hear the whistle.
Absolutely. It's easier said than done, especially when Wolves are playing like garbage and they're already 2-0 down and things are going against you, but it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. But Wolves, I still feel like they're not safe. I think like they might just barely stay up, but man, when they look bad, they look really, really bad. They can give up a lot of goals at any time. So they've got a lot to worry about, a lot. Wolves, Newcastle picked up a win over the weekend. That's now 2 straight for Newcastle. They've kind of become a little bit more comfortable in that top 4 spot.
Top spot.
I definitely think Newcastle are going to finish top 4 at this point.
I do think so.
Yeah, they've won their last 2 games now. I think they're going to push on and have a good month of April, and I think they are going to finish in the top 4. Newcastle will.
Well, to be fair, the games against Nottingham Forest, I think they're a little lucky, you know.
Yeah.
The penalties. If they didn't have penalty, that game
against Nottingham Forest, they were ridiculously lucky. They scored deep into first half stoppage time, and then deep into second half stoppage time. So, they were definitely lucky in that game. Definitely lucky. Even the week before, when I think they beat Wolves 2-1, it was a late goal to beat Wolves as well. So, yeah, a little bit lucky, but it'll give them confidence.
It will do the job.
And it's almost by default, Liverpool aren't finishing top 4. Spurs ain't finishing top 4. Chelsea are long gone. The only team that I feel like could maybe challenge Newcastle for the top 4 right now, and I'm being serious, is Brighton. Brighton are having a hell of a good season. And there's a chance, an outside chance, that they could still finish top 4. Brighton could. That's how well they're playing. And with that said, FA Cup, Brighton into the semi-final. They played really well. It was Grimsby Town. It was sad. I know. They destroyed I know it. And then Man City just hammered Burnley. You know, another hat trick for Holland. Comfortable win. Sheffield United, they're in, and they beat Blackburn. They're in the semi-final. So we have Man City and Blackburn in the semi-final, and then one other semi-final, Brighton and Manchester United. And we've got to finish up talking about that Manchester United Fulham game. What did you think about that?
Man, yeah, it's against Fulham. Well, there are lots of things going on. We gotta talk about the game. I thought that it's gonna end up like 1-0 because Man United looks so absolutely terrible. Like I just mentioned, watch Man United like I'm watching a swarm of cows on laxatives. It's just what I mentioned in the last video. And that Fulham look great. They look comfortable with the game, but then things have changed.
I know it.
I mean, Willian, he should let that go in because if Man United scores that goal,
it's 1-1 and see what I know. He should have let it go in. They should have reacted differently. So, rewind. Manchester United and Fulham were playing in the Premier League back in November. It was the last game before the World Cup. And Fulham played really, really well in that game. Really well. They ran Manchester United off the pitch. But somehow Manchester United scored a goal with the last kick of the game. Garnacho got it. And Manchester United won the game 2-1. Fulham, they were fucked. They deserved to win the game. A draw minimum, but they should have won the game. But they lost. These things happen in football, blah, blah, blah. But I just think in that moment when initially Willian kept the ball out and it was ruled play on, but then VAR said go look at it. And when we looked at it, VAR, yes, it was a handball and a red card to keep the goal up. But Fulham were just thinking in the back of their mind, here we go again. We got jammed up back in November. Now the same thing is happening again to us against these guys. We've played so well for 75 minutes. Man United has been garbage, and now the same thing is happening to us again. And they just went mental, and they lost it. They completely lost
Mitrovic, Marco Silva. I wish I know what both of these two tells to the referee, because judging by the red card from the first, it was for Marco Silva.
Yeah, definitely.
The only things I can imagine right now, the things he said to the referee, I just can't imagine how harsh it could be. I wish we know.
It's probably going to be the rest of the season.
The rest of the season.
Yeah, I reckon. I reckon it's going to be rest of the season. You just can't do that, and they want to make a statement as well that if players are doing that in the future, there's a price to pay. So I think he's out for the rest of the season. Obviously, he's a key player for Fulham, and it's going to have a big impact on them.
But Marco Silva. If you watch the full game, you can see the tunnels cam that he was like this, and he was like, fuck, what have I done?
Yeah, I know.
And then he just wrote a letter to his assistant.
Yeah.
He said to bring Daniel James in, Solomon, and Man Solomon, and I don't have a clue who another one is.
Yeah, they made the changes.
They made the changes.
Yeah.
They I think in their mind was like, try to get another goal. They try to bring the fresh players in.
Yeah.
Because when you lost
at
2 players,
men, you need fresh legs.
When you lose these 2 players, the pitch looks so empty for Fulham. I was like, mate. Holy cow. I feel bad for them,
Yeah, I know it. So they really had no chance. At that point, it was 1-1, 9 men. Man United scored 2 more goals and finished 3-1, and that was it.
It was lucky, though.
Yeah.
The first
Fulham, man. Fulham, they're going to regret that, because at 1-1...
they could still have a chance.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen at 1-1? Who knows? That's part of football. So Manchester United are playing Brighton in the next round. Man City are playing Sheffield United. These games are next month. We'll talk about them more. But I would say Man City are definitely going to beat Sheffield United. Definitely.
100%.
As for the other one, that could go either way. Brighton are having a wonderful season. And at Manchester United have so many games right now. They have Europa League games, Premier League games. That game with I see Manchester United and Brighton as a real 50-50.
50-50?
Yeah, season 50-50.
I'll give Brighton slightly edge of 60-40.
60-40, yeah. Brighton, they could easily win that game, but so could Manchester United. It can go either way. But a couple great games to look forward to. So, FA Cup coming up. Big month of European football coming up. And Premier League is going to be on fire next month. Absolutely on fire.
Can't wait. I'm buzzing.
This weekend, sadly, European 2024 qualifiers. It doesn't really get us excited. England and Italy. First time they're playing since the Euro final.
Since the Euro
I guess it's kind of interesting. France and the Netherlands. It's a sexy matchup, but again, the problem is like, okay, let's say Italy wins, let's say France wins, like England and Netherlands are still going to qualify for the Euros,
100%.
It's
100%.
We know who's going to be. Well, we don't know everyone who's going to be there, but we know the big teams are going to be there. So it's difficult to get excited about it. I'll probably watch the highlights. That's it. But there's certainly big games. They're big games. So. We're coming back though. Next week we're coming back, and we're going to really preview all the matches next week. We're going to come back with our betting tips and our teasers next week. But we really wanted to make this video to recap everything that's been going down recently, and we're happy to be back.
We're happy to be back. So, ladies and gentlemen, please let us know how do you feel about the games.
Oh yeah.
Let us know how do you feel.
Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and we love to hear the feedback.
There was a Burnley fans commented on our last video, and he said that he even gave us tips as well on how to bet and what teams to bet on.
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it.
That was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
So,
yeah, tough luck for Burnley, by the way, against Man City. Man City are just they're in good form right now. They're in good form. It was tough luck for Burnley, but they're having a great season.
They are.
This shit happens in football, man. I mean, you go up against Man City who are in good form, you get beat. So
things got tough.
Yeah, Burnley, keep your heads up. You'll be in the Premier League next season.
You'll be in the Premier League next week. Congratulations, Burnley fans.
Oh yeah. They'll be promoted very soon, and we're doing another video. We love everybody out there. Have a great week.
Yeah, hope to see you guys again another episode.
That's right.
Another football prediction review teacher bar. And don't forget to place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. This should do it for today.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe.
Comment down below what's your thought. Tell us your thought, anything. Or maybe if we made some mistakes, correct us down there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Feel free to do it.
Tell us anything.
Tell us anything you want to. Alright, so I think that should do it for today.
Absolutely.
So yeah, hope to see you guys again in the next episode. Peace.
Adios.
Adios. Brilliant.